Nancy Fahey, as well as player Jenn Dynis, after Washington University's 73-54 victory over St. Norbert in the first round of NCAA Division III Women's Basketball Tournament. Coach, first of all, can you just talk a little bit about tonight's game against St. Norbert?
It's what we expected. I have so much respect for Coach Tilley and what her program has been. I'm from Wisconsin, so I know her very well. Their teams are well coached. I thought they came right at us tonight. Great defensive and went inside. So we knew, and I told the kids at this time of year everybody's going to be good. Everybody's going to be making runs, and we have to be ready for that. So I'm glad we kept the tempo up, and I think eventually the big thing we were talking about at halftime was boards, and that was what kind of turned the tail for us in the second half.
You mentioned runs there. You guys jumped out to a 9-3 lead at the start of the game. Then you came back, and then actually St. Norbert held the lead after the first quarter. But Jenn hit a big jumper early in the second quarter. Jenn, can you talk about hanging in there after that first quarter? You guys never trailed after your jumper there in the second quarter. How important was it to stay in it mentally after getting, having a lead and then seeing it evaporate?
Yeah, we've kind of talked about just like how we need to go on runs and limit their runs as well. And I think that in that case, a lot of us were just ready to push in the first 2 minutes of every quarter. You got to go hard, you got to go on those runs and then prevent theirs. So I think all of us were really focused in the fact that we knew we needed to push the ball, get easy points is what we talk about all the time, and I think that that's kind of what we executed on down the stretch.
Another big part of tonight's game was your bench. You outscored St. Norbert 27-8. Can you talk a little bit about the depth of your bench?
That's been pretty much our bio all year long. I think what's nice when you go into practice every day and these guys can compete 5-on-5, it makes it fun. I mean, we only get to play 20 sometimes a year, so when you can come in and compete like that, and I think that what's really nice is the team has embraced it versus fought it. The starters do a great job, and the kids that come off the bench know their roles, and sometimes we change even starters between quarters. Tonight I don't believe that was the case, but so that's one of the keys to our success this year is our bench production. But it also takes the starters, to understand how this teamwork thing goes. So I've been really proud of all of them.
Coach, can you talk about Claudia Smith? Her energy in the first half, hit 2 big threes, much needed, couple steals. I thought she really brought it in the first half.
I pulled her up after the game, and I said, that's the best game you've played this year. And I'd be honest, I challenged her at halftime, and the other point guard pretty pointed about the tempo was really, really good, but we have to control the tempo. Once we, if we don't get something, sometimes I literally tell them to slow down. And, I thought she responded extremely well coming out second half. There was times she could have ran it. She pulled it back, and she managed the court, and that was as good as she played second half. I actually kind of got after her at halftime, so goes to tell you. But I thought it was one of her best games she's played.
Jenn, to follow up on that, as a senior teammate, come out bringing that energy, does it help you pump you up as well?
Absolutely. Claudia's strength totally is her defense and everything that she can do with stopping her girl. I know I was talking to her one time, and she loves getting defensive challenges, and that's like what she prides herself on, and that's helps us so much too. When she can get up in somebody, then we all have the energy to do the same, and that creates so much flow for all of us and a lot of energy down the stretch too.
The key quarter in this game was obviously the third quarter. You outscored St. Norbert 21-10. I think one of the most important parts of that quarter in your run, you only turned the ball over twice in that quarter. Was that something that you got on the team at halftime?
Yeah, we mentioned that. It did come up. I think the 2 stats that we mentioned were I think it was 1 offensive board and 9 turnovers. And I'll give, if a team's playing great D, hey, that's good. But we were fumbling. We were just fumbling the ball around a little bit too much. And that was the part of slowing down again. It's like run. I think we also counted 5 missed layups. That's not good. And you're up by 6. That's good, but not good, because just because it's halftime doesn't mean that stuff stops. And you got to credit your opponents and not just assume it's all about you. So I think, but the kids did react. I think right at the beginning of the third quarter, she picked up a couple of key offensive boards, and that's all you got to do. And everybody's like, oh, here we go.
Gentlemen, do you have any other questions?
I'd like to go back to even before the game and the preparation leading up to it with the 14 assists, 21 turnovers against Chicago. Was it just
in a game we won.
Yeah.
I know.
ESPN top 10.
Did you change the whole thing, or did you just say, well, we'll just do what we do and the numbers will take care of
themselves? Well, Chicago is a unique defensive style that you do have to prepare for that week, but you have to be careful when you're heading into a tournament, how much you shift your team into a different direction, you know, in trying to handle that kind of pressure. And we figured it out eventually. I mean, and that's a credit to Chicago, but I think when you have to let that game go and move on, even how it ended. So it was talked about, but I don't know if we talked about that. I think we were more celebrating the fact that we scored 9 points in 47 seconds than the other
14.
two stats that you just brought up. But as a coach, I did have on the board today, value the ball. So that did show up for the first time.
Coach Fahey, Zoe Vernon's always been a big part of your offense, but the past 3 games she's sort of taken on a even more expanded role, especially from beyond the three-point arc, where she's 9 of 14 in the past 3 games. What sort of extra dimension does that add to your offense, and how does it help the team?
You know, I think the thing about Zoe, coming in last year, we knew she was a three-point shooter, but she really took focus this summer on becoming a complete ball player, and that means driving, that means rebounding, and her basketball IQ is out of this world. She knows what's going on in that court, and I also think you see a senior like seniors play right now. I mean, you look at these guys, there's a different look on their face than a sophomore. You just can't replicate it. They know what it means. I mean, right now what you're going through, and every one of those, when I was walking through that line, you could tell who the seniors were. You could just because there's tears. And that's how, because if you put that much effort into something, it's what's going to happen. So when you're on the flip side of that, you really want to work to stop that. And she's just become an incredibly well-rounded player.
Jenn, the team shot 50% from the field in both the first and second half. So what was working well for you and then the offense as a whole?
Second half, I think we talked a lot about at halftime, making sure that we really focus on getting good shots in our offense and swinging the ball around so that we know when a rebound's coming up. And I think that was a big part of, I guess, my scoring second half is better able to know when the shot's going up so I can get in position for a better rebound. To that, you just got to find open gaps and execute well. A lot of the plays that we run so much in practice and we can execute them and we know all of our options. And I think that really helps is when, everybody's looking at 5, 6, 7 different options off of an offense. And we just managed to hit those. So that was good.
Let's talk about also avoiding early fouls in each half or some players. It seems like the team has done a lot better in the second half of the season. It's been a long stretch where we haven't had early exits with 2 fouls and a half.
We had to adjust our defense somewhere, I don't know, would you say about 10 games in? Somewhere in there.
That, yeah.
I'm just guessing. Just to kind of play for our strengths, and I think that has contributed. Because when we did have some fouls early, the dribble penetration, we weren't doing what we were supposed to do. They were getting and then you're going to have fouls, and they shot 10 free throws or something in the first, I don't know, something like that. So that was something else. We got to get back to who we are defensively.
All right, Coach, Jenn, thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck.